Okay, everybody, welcome. It's Wednesday, December 23rd, 2009, and this is the FX Street webinar. And I'm so glad you're all here. Thank you for being here. I know that it's early, late, / not a very interesting market for a lot of you, and you should be looking at my charts right now. Why don't we start with the euro? Jennifer, which way do you want the euro to go?
Up and down.
Up. First up and then down a whole lot. We are definitely interested in the euro going down as far as possible later, but right now it's perfectly awesome for it to go up. Is anybody here in a euro chart right now? And if you are, let us know that you're in that trade, and I want to talk about some things that are really near and dear to my heart. And it's the trade of the week, trade of the day, trade of the century, trade of the most important trade that I'm looking at right now, and would love to hear if anybody here is long or short or anything else. To the missed, the weekly pivot at 44.20. So it looks like Mystic is long the euro. It looks like everybody else is too afraid to say if they have a trade on the euro or not. That's perfectly fine. This is the euro dollar 15-minute chart. You'll notice that I drew a trend line on this like 18 years ago. Back in 1877, Abraham Lincoln and I were trading together, and we drew this trend line on the euro, and I've been waiting for the euro to break this trend line. This is actually the 30-minute chart. And the currency pair on the 30-minute chart is just touching this trend line right now. The 200 simple moving average is at 43.44. Seems like it was just touching that as well. And the 800 simple moving average is all the way up at 46.83. It has been away from the 800 simple moving average for 859 candles. That's longer than normal. On the 15-minute chart, this currency pair has been away from the 800 simple moving average for 1,213 candles. That's twice as long as normal. And so right now I am long the euro dollar. I'm super involved in a buy trade on the euro dollar. Ultra super massively involved in a buy trade on the euro dollar. So if any questions or comments. Someone's flat. IKEO is short. Long-term IKEO, if that's a long-term trade, something you're going to hold for the next month or two, that's probably a good idea. Would you say that, Jennifer? I mean, all signs are pointing to dollar strength in the near term, long term, but for the rest of this week and maybe into next week, looks like a different story.
I'm
hoping anyway. I mean, that definitely would be spectacular. It looks to me like we are on the way up towards the 800 simple moving average, and if we break this trend line and close above this trend line here, I think we'll make it all the way up to the 800 simple moving average on the 15-minute chart. That's way overdue. That, once again, that level is at 44.53. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how far this has moved today in relation to pivots. And it hasn't really gone anywhere. And Chris Mystic mentioned that he's trading up to the weekly pivot here. That's at 44.18. I think what's interesting is that matches up pretty well to the 800 simple moving average on the 15-minute chart, which is that. So, yeah, so I think we're all looking at pretty much the same level here, 44.20 to 44.50 is the target that we're looking for on that current pair. Can we see the pound Swiss, says Avi. Avi, of course we can see the pound Swiss. Let's see the pound Swiss right now. Usually I'll start with the 5-minute chart or the 1-minute chart here on this currency pair. The 1-minute pound Swiss is not overextended. It's been away from the 800 simple moving average for 254 candles. That's not extraordinary. On the 5-minute chart, it's been away from the 800 simple moving average for 1,013 bars or candles. That is overextended. So we're going to stop there for just a moment, and maybe we'll have a little special chat about that. You should be able to see that chart okay. I just realized that if you're not, you should just let us know. On the pound Swiss 5-minute chart, the currency pair has just been rocketing lower. I mean, extraordinarily fast. And it's been away from the 800 simple moving average for over 1,000 candles. Generally speaking, you can only go away from the 800 for about 500. So this is way farther than normal. I mean, super, ultra, massive farther than normal. Not normal for this to be the case. So we want to start thinking about a buy trade. Chris and I, or Jennifer and I, or anybody that trades the Boscillator is going to tell you that the smartest place to start entering positions is all the way up here at the 200 simple moving average. Have I been smoking? Sound like I've been smoking. Oh, the 200 simple. The 200 simple moving average. Sorry. Oh, that's legitimate. Sorry. You want some water? Right now, the 200 simple moving average is up at 67.10. It's probably smart to wait until the currency pair breaks and closes above that level to buy this currency pair. Remember that trading currency is risky. You could lose money, blah, 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 and you shouldn't be doing this if you're going to, lose all your money or whatever. However, that said, if I'm going to take a buy trade on the pound Swiss because it's been away from the 800 simple moving average for a long time, it's not going to happen until it goes above the 200 simple moving average. And Chris will tell you, even better would be for the 62 to cross above the 200 simple moving average on the way up to the 800. And until then, we could consider this trend as fairly strong and overextended, of course, but probably going to last out for a while. Now, if you're, yeah, exactly. I was going to say, if you're interested in a first, more aggressive entry, you could wait until the currency pair rises and closes above that fairly steep but accurately drawn trend line. And Jennifer says you could maybe even consider taking profit at those moving averages there. So you're not in for the whole time. You're just in for the 200 simple moving average, and you're going to enter way down here above the trend line. That's certainly a possibility. Mystic and I think that trend line's a little bit steep, but if you do something like that and you conservatize your profit target, which is not even a word, but if you do that, then you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You're getting a trade in that you might really be interested in, but you're not going like out of control on it. Yep. Jennifer likes it. That makes it an officially awesome idea. Okay, that's the pound Swiss 5-minute. Let's go to the 15-minute and see what's shaking. On the 15-minute, nothing's shaking. Nothing's happening. Ain't nothing going on. And that sucker is still going down. That's why we don't enter the trade like right now. 30-minute chart is just back at the 800 simple moving average, and there ain't nothing going on there either. It's just looking super bearish. I mean, 1 hour, 30-minute, there's the 4 hour. 4 hours been away from the 800 for 448 bars, but that's still not enough. I mean, 500 is really where you start the trip back to the 800, and we're not even at 500 yet. So,
well, what was the level of the 800 on the 5-minute chart? So where would that be on this chart?
The 5-minute 800 simple moving average is at 67.67. That is right up here at this old trend line, or, well, at this 62 exponential moving average. So those line up. It's crazy. It's not that crazy. It's fine. Daily chart has been away from the 800. Now there's just all kinds of stuff. I don't have enough data data loaded. So we're going to just do some data loading here and see if we can get some 800 simple moving average going on. And while I'm doing that, if you've got questions, comments, jokes, or things you want to say, go ahead and write them out, and we'll get to them. A lot of people didn't go up for the webinar today because they're sleeping. A lot of people sleeping in today. A lot of people not showing up for work and stuff. It might take me all day to get this 800 simple moving average. MetaTrader just has a mind of its own. It's like, no, I'm not going to load that 800 for you. No, that's not going to happen. Please enjoy the music while your 800 simple moving average is reached. Yeah, screw that. We're not even going to do that. 5 minute, that's where we end it on the pound Swiss. There's your 5 minute chart. If it goes above that trend line while we're sitting here, we could certainly look into it more. And there's the euro dollar. 5 minute is above that trend line, but it closed above it on the 15 minute. Oh, that's a happy time. That's really good. Yeah, Jennifer just says, I want to buy that. I'll buy that. I like that. I'd buy that for $1. Please make the US dollar go down. No problem. I'm working on it right now. Please enjoy the music while I make the euro dollar go down. Okay. Nobody? I did. No. Well, yeah, please make it go down was a comment from Mao. Do you think tanking on the pound Swiss is profit taking on the dollar Swiss? Yes. Yes, I do. AV said, is there a possibility that movement on the dollar Swiss is driving movement on the pound Swiss? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. This is the Australian dollar, US dollar 5 minute chart. It is mere pips away from the 800 simple moving average at 88. It's right now at 87.90. It has been away from the 800 simple moving average for 1,786 bars. I think it's safe to say that while we're here together, or soon thereafter, the Australian dollar, US dollar is going to hit the 800 simple moving average. That would be a very quick trade for some of you, a 5 or 10 pip trade. If you want to scalp, if you want something super short term, that's a possibility right there. On the Australian dollar, US dollar, the 62 has crossed the 200. The currency pair has been away from the 800 for way longer than is normal. And it's close to the 800, and you might trade it a scalp up there. So there you have it. That's the next one I'm looking at. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. On the 15-minute chart, it's been away from the 800 for 597 bars, so that's due for a return. Looks like the euro. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And on the 30-minute chart, it says it's been away for just 300. And that's true. Not for very long. Not like the euro in that case. And on the 1 hour, we're barely on a trip away from the 800. And on the 4 hour, I think we're on the way to hitting the 800 weeks ago. Is it, Chris, is it like 3 or 4 weeks ago? We were planning a trade on this currency pair to sell it all the way down to the 800, but both you and I gave up early because of the holidays. This currency pair is longer term on the way to the 800 simple moving average on the 4 hour. No question about it. Absolutely, positively the case. I'm all stuffy and sniffly today. This cold weather in California is really getting to me. What do you think the weather is right now in California? I wonder if it's, let's see. Weather 92692. Wow, that's cold. I'll show you how cold it is if you don't think it's cold here. It's too hot in Brazil. Can everybody tell me where you're at? Tell us where you're at. Tell us what part of the world you're in. Wow, that is really cool. Could it really be 37 degrees right now? That's unbelievable. Yeah, we could. This might be day. We need to go someplace warm. Okay, we have people from Kuwait, Sao Paulo. Oh, it's summer in Sao Paulo. Let's go to Sao Paulo for the holidays. Fort Lauderdale. Mystic says he's at Tiptopia. New Mexico, Antarctica. You're not in Antarctica. London, Southampton, San Francisco, Ontario, Singapore, Denver, Nigeria. Wow. It's not that much warmer here. We'll be upper 70s, 80s Friday, then dropping again to 65, 70. Yeah. I mean, it does get warmer later in the week, I'm sure. But it's better than having it snow. New Jersey, need a training session in the Caribbean cruise. That's true. All right, let's go back to the charts. Dollar Canadian is the only other currency pair that I really want to look at. It also needs a trip back to the 800 simple moving average. It's been away from the 800 for 633 bars. Right? So, above the 200 simple moving average, we'd like to see a move up to the 800. Or he said, above this trend line, an early trade with a move to break even on the stop loss at the 200 simple moving average. And once it closes above the 200, that would be an additional buy trade, or the first buy trade up to the 800 simple moving average, which is at 1.0600. Sunshine says there's frost outside in Humboldt, Northern California. Hi, Sunshine. Good morning. 15-minute chart. 800 is just completely gone. There's no 800. There's no 800. It's gone, everyone. There we go. It's loading now. And it's only been away from the 800 for 90 bars, so nothing. Zippo. 30-minute chart, we don't have the 800 either. Where did all my 800 simple moving averages go?
Holidays off.
We took the holidays off? I didn't give it any time off. So we're just loading it here. It's just going to take a minute. There we go. On the 30-minute chart, it's only been away from the 800 for a very, very small amount of time, so that doesn't count either. And on the 1 hour, it's only been away from the 800 for zero. I mean, nothing. Zero. Zippo. So that's nothing. That's no big deal. And on the 4 hour, it's been away from the 800 for 1,081 days. That's above average. So we had been thinking about a buy trade above this blue trend line. And that whole thing is shot to heck. And now we're trying again. This currency pair on the 4-hour chart is just taking its sweet time getting back to the 800. And although that might be driving some people crazy, it will get there. That 800 simple moving average is at 1.0800. I believe that move is going to happen after the new year. And until then, it's possible that there'll be dollar weakness. But after the new year, I fully expect dollar Canadian strength. And I think I said that on Forex TV yesterday. Another 350 pips. Right. Where can you see it?
Yeah.
It's on the web, forextv.com. All right, that's the dollar Canadian. Let's do one more currency pair for anybody that would like another currency. Oh, I can't see the comments, so I don't know what they're asking. Short euro yen 5-minute. Perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. Wow. That's marvelous. That looks really yummy. Okay, folks. On this currency pair, thank you, Chris, for suggesting it. On this currency pair, the 800 simple moving average is down at 130.34. It's been away from the 800 for 610 candles. That's totally above average. So it needs a trip back. The 62 has already once before crossed below the 200. It's about to do that again, at which time it would be completely acceptable to take the trade. And it will probably simultaneously cross below this awesome green trend line that I just drew. And that would be a short trade down to the 800 simple moving average. Do you think trading next week will be too thin to bother? Asks Harley. No. Harley, I think trading this week is the thin week. Next week, things can pick up a little bit. Not a huge amount, but they can pick up a bit. And it's moving. Look at that. Wow. That trade is just about opening. And the euro dollar did very nicely. Good job, euro dollar. Good job, euro dollar. And the Australian dollar, how you doing? Nothing. Nothing. You're going to get a better price on an entry here, folks, if you wait on the Australian dollar, US dollar. We were waiting for it to go above this horizontal red line, but now it looks like we're going to get a chance to maybe draw something as it falls back further. That could be really nice. Pound yen down, what kind of targets? Mystic is asking me if I heard what Kathy Lean said about next week and the euro dollar. No, I didn't, but I'd love to hear what she said. If you want to summarize it, that'd be sweet. Pound yen target. If you're short the pound yen and you're looking for a target, I'd say 145.30. Yeah, 145.30 would be reasonable. And goodbye to the pound Swiss. Or 145.30. Yeah, 145.30. If you're looking for a target on the pair, 145.30 would be an awesome target on the pound yen. Oh yeah, statistically the euro is bullish against the dollar next week. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, and it's a huge, it has in some cases been a massive, huge move of hundreds of pips. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. All right, folks, that's about all I've got. It's 7:30. It's December 23rd, 2000 and whatever it is. You're 2000 and late. I'm so 2008. Remember that Black Eyed Peas song? Mm-hmm. What is it? Is that Pump It? We should listen to that to go. We should have that be our sign off song. I think that's the Black Eyed Peas. So if there's any more questions while we're just getting ready to sign off, you should let us know. My humps, my humps, my humps. What a good song. Let's see here.
Boom, boom, pow.
Boom, boom, pow. Yeah, that's the one. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Rob, can you show the US dollar, Canadian dollar again? Of course. All right, here's the dollar Canadian. And the dollar Canadian is down here at 1.0518. And it's probably going to break sometime later in this week or early next week at the latest above the 200 simple moving average. If it closes above that 200 simple moving average, that's a signal that we could see this currency pair go up to the 800. I know. Look at that go, and look at the euro go, people. Is that not ridiculously awesome? Okay, everybody. You all are the best, super best people in the world. And I'm going to leave you off with boom, boom, pow. Happy holidays, everyone. See you next week.